Hey guys, this is PODFIC, and today we're going to be reading Damian, Why Are You Hanging Out with the Red Hood by Nazgul. This is Chapter 2. The footage of the cave played again on the laptop, and Tim ran his hands through his hair. Tim by no means liked Damian. The little brat was ridiculously mean and entitled for someone who was brand new and barely 10, but wow. He had only known how big the Red Hood was in the abstract. There, on screen, side by side with Damian, touching his shoulder, God, the Red Hood was a huge man, and his hand had been so close to Damian's throat, and Tim hated it, but he was kind of worried for the little shit. Dick, what the hell did we do? Dick, who had folded his arms and stared at the floor for a whole 5 minutes after telling Tim to check the cameras, blinked back to awareness. I don't know. Bruce is gone, right? Tim nodded. The cave alert would have gotten him down here if he were still in the watchtower, so I checked. Jean said they got a distress call, and most of the major players are on a rescue mission. It's unlike Bruce to leave without giving an update, but apparently they needed a tactician, and Diana was unavailable. Do we know how long he'll be gone? Red Tornado's estimate is 6 weeks. Christ, Dick whispered. Guess I'm sticking around a little longer. Weren't you staying here anyway because you think Damon's suffering from culture shock? Tim huffed. Hardly an excuse for all the homicide attempts. Dick rubbed his face. Damn it, Tim, you're right. But you gotta understand, it's not really his fault. His mom is Talia al Ghul. Being raised by her is bound to result in some social misconceptions. Tim frowned. You think we could contact her? Implied that a strange man is hanging out with her kid? It's worth a shot, but Tim, she's not a stupid woman. She probably knows who Red Hood is, and if he's as much as her son as Damian is, not only is she unlikely to tell us anything, but he himself might pose an actual threat to us, identity issues aside. I'm going to talk to Alfred. Tim shut his laptop and tucked it under his arm, and got up from the table. Wish me luck. He left Dick staring at the table and made his way down to where he knew Alfred would be dusting Bruce's study at this time. Day? Night for regular people. Alfred? He knocked on the door. Alfred was, indeed, dusting. He paused, though, and handed over his full attention like it wasn't worth gold. Yes, Mr. Tim. Tim leaned against Bruce's desk and tried not to look worried. You know how we got a break-in? Yes. I'm torn on whether or not to try to contact Damian's mom. Miss Agul? Yeah, Tim nodded, and Alfred tapped his chin. You want my opinion? Tim nodded again. Alfred looked pleased, and Tim wondered how often Bruce or Dick came to him and asked what he thought. Personally, I think you should. Master Damian might have his problems here, but if he is in need of protection, his mother is best equipped to handle proper threats. Not Bruce? No, Alfred murmured. Not when it comes to proper threats. Tim decided he was going to shelf that for another time and nodded. Okay. He walked back to the door, but then he paused. Also, he added, Damian thinks we don't want him here. I admit I've got my issues with the little menace, but he said to Red Hood that he thought Dick trying to spend time with him was him trying to corner him. He mentioned what he said to you about the case, and again, I don't like him. But I think Red Hood told him that you were as much Bruce's family as Damian was, and to treat you respectfully, he genuinely doesn't know what he did wrong. Alfred's face was a mixture of curiosity and consideration. Interesting. I'll keep that in mind. Tim nodded and started making his way to his room. He had an assassin to find. Alright guys, and that is the end of Chapter 2 of Damian, Why Are You Hanging Out with the Red Hood by Nazgul. I hope you guys liked it, and see you next chapter.